There's a strange phenomenon that financial gurus never talk about. A person sits in debt for years, and then in 1 week, everything turns upside down. Clients start calling out of nowhere, debts are paid off. Money literally appears out of thin air. This is bad luck and not a coincidence. This is the moment when the sacral center awakens. Most people live their entire lives with their lower abdomen turned off. They operate on survival energy. But when this center activates, reality begins to shift in your favor. But how do you know that this is happening to you right now? Most people miss the signs. They feel a strange warmth in their stomach and think they're sick. They feel a sudden urge to spend money and get scared. They see the signs, but ignore them. In this video, I give you a map. I'll show you 3 stages of awakening your money energy. From subtle physical sensations to real events that logic can't explain. By the end of this video, you will know for sure. Are you still asleep or has your flow already begun? And if you're ready to speed up this process, I have a technique for you. Section 1. The science of activation. The science of sacral activation. Before we get to the signs, you need to understand what actually happens when your sacral center opens. In epic anatomy, the sacral chakra, Svadhisthana, is located approximately 2 inches below the navel. It governs creativity, sensuality, pleasure, and, yes, your relationship with material abundance. But here's what most spiritual content won't tell you. This isn't just metaphysical theory. The sacral area corresponds to an actual nerve plexus in your body, the hypogastric plexus, which is directly connected to the reproductive organs, adrenal glands, and lower digestive system. When you activate this area through breathing practices or focused attention, you stimulate the vagus nerve, increase blood flow, and trigger the release of neurochemicals, dopamine, and oxytocin. A 2019 study published in Frontiers in Psychology found that focused interceptive awareness, the ability to sense the body's internal state, correlates with improved decision-making and risk assessment. Simply put, when you sense your sacral center, you make better financial decisions, but there's a deeper layer. The sacral center is your body's antenna for receptivity. In Taoist philosophy, it's the lower dantian, the cauldron in which sexual energy, jing, is refined into life force, kai, and ultimately, spirit, shen. When this center is blocked, you're in survival mode. Hoarding, controlling, and operating from scarcity. When it opens, you enter into flow, attracting, receiving, and circulating. Think of it like a radio. A blocked sacral center is static. An open sacral center is attuned to the purity of abundance. So, when I say your sacral center opens, I mean your nervous system reduces chronic stress. Your body produces pleasure hormones instead of cortisol. Your energy field broadcasts receptivity instead of resistance, and reality responds. Now let's talk about how to recognize that this is happening. Sign number 1 is sensations in the body. The first sign is physical, and it's the most reliable, because the body doesn't lie. Warmth and heat. The most common sensation. Warmth in the lower abdomen. A soft, diffuse heat, as if you were placing a heating pad 2 inches below the navel. Some describe it as a glowing ember or warm honey spreading throughout the pelvis. This is not imagination. When you activate the sacral center, through breathing or visualization, you increase blood flow to the pelvic area. Thermographic studies have shown that focused attention can increase local tissue temperature by 1 to 2 degrees. Your body literally heats up. Why is this important for money? Because heat is activation. Cold, without a sacral center, means stagnation. Energy doesn't move. Heat means circulation, and money is energy in motion. Pulsation and tingling. The second physical sign is pulsation. You may feel a rhythmic beating, a soft pulse, or an electrical tingling, as if tiny sparks are flickering in the lower abdomen. This often happens during meditation or just before sleep. What's happening? You feel the movement of cerebrospinal fluid and activation of the hypogastric plexus. In Kundalini Yoga, this is described as the awakening of prana. The life force begins to circulate through blocked pathways. Here's the key point. Pulsation means activation is underway. Your sacral center isn't fully open yet, but the energy is moving. You're clearing old blocks, trauma, shame, and a lack program. And the tingling is the energetic equivalent of goosebumps as blood returns to a numb limb. This phase usually lasts from 1 to 3 weeks. During this time, you may also experience heightened sexual energy or spontaneous arousal even without external stimuli. Vivid dreams of water, oceans, or flowing rivers. A sudden urge to move your hips, sway, dance, or rotate. Don't suppress these impulses. Movement accelerates the opening. Pressure and fullness. The third physical sign. A feeling of pressure, as if something is expanding inside your pelvis. It's not painful, but it's noticeable. You become aware of your lower abdomen in a way you weren't aware of before. This is the sacral center filling up. In Taoist alchemy, this is called forming a pearl, accumulating purified energy in the lower danshan before circulating it upward. You literally accumulate power. And here's where it gets interesting. When your sacral center is full, you stop losing energy. You stop giving discounts you don't want to give. You stop agreeing to projects that drain you. You stop working overtime to prove your worth. You become a magnet instead of being desperate. And then the money starts coming. What if you don't feel anything? If you do sacred practices for weeks and don't feel anything, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. Usually, it means one of 3 things. You're dissociated from your body. Years of trauma or stress can dull your bodily awareness. So what to do? Start with basic body scans. Spend a day simply noticing sensations in your feet, hands, belly, anywhere. First, develop the interception muscle. Your practice is too gentle. Some people need more intensity to break through. Try stronger breathing techniques, like breath of fire. Rapid diaphragmatic breathing. This forces the sensation. You are in your head, not your body. If you visualize the sacral center as an abstract concept, you won't feel anything. Instead, place your hand on your lower abdomen. Feel the warmth of your palm. Breathe into that warmth. Make it physical, not conceptual. Remember, physical signs come first because the body is the foundation. If you skip this layer and try to manifest from the head, you're building on sand. Now let's talk about emotional shifts, because when the body opens, your psychology is transformed. Emotional shifts. This is the second sign that your sacral center is opening. And this is where most people realize something has profoundly changed. Pleasure without guilt. The first emotional shift is this. You start spending money on yourself without guilt. Not recklessly, not impulsively, but consciously, with joy, without that voice in your head that says, you don't deserve it. You buy expensive coffee, sign up for a massage, an experience, and don't justify it to anyone, including yourself. Why is this a sign of sacral activation? Because the sacral center governs pleasure and self-worth. When it's blocked, you believe you have to earn the right to feel good. You act from a place of scarcity. I'll treat myself when I have more money. But here's the paradox. You can't get more money by denying pleasure. Because money is pleasure. It's freedom, lightness, joy, expansion. When your sacral center opens, guilt dissolves. You don't overcome it with willpower. It simply disappears because your nervous system has changed. You've moved from scarcity mode, cortisol, contraction, to abundance mode, oxytocin, expansion. Money responds to your purity, not your affirmations. Emotional lightness. The second emotional sign is lightness. You feel less heavy, less crushed. Financial stress doesn't squeeze you as much as before. You still have a goal. You still have goals, but the heaviness is different. Instead of sinking, you float. This is not denial or a spiritual bypass. It's a nervous system regulation. When your sacral center is blocked, the body interprets a lack of money as a threat to survival. Your fear center is constantly activated. You operate in fight or flight mode. I need to earn money right now, otherwise I'll die. A UCLA study showed that people in a relaxed physiological state are 27% more likely to find creative solutions to problems. In other words, you can't think of wealth while your body is panicking. Lightness equals receptivity, and receptivity equals income. Desire without despair. The third emotional shift, and this is the main one, is that your desires become pure. You still want money, but you don't need money to feel normal. You still have goals, but you're not tied to specific deadlines. You move on. Psychologically, you're experiencing confirmation bias. You notice money that's always been there. That's true. But there's more. Energetically, you've shifted your signal. Remember, the sacral center governs receptivity. When it's blocked, you unconsciously reject offers, opportunities, and influx. You might literally delete an email without reading it, ignore a message, or automatically say no. When the sacral center opens, you become accessible, and the universe, or your reticular activating system, if you prefer neuroscience, begins to deliver. When you start receiving these small but constant cash flows, pay attention. They're not random. They're feedback from your energy field. Every unexpected ruble is confirmation that your purity has shifted. Gifts and generosity are the second external sign. People start giving to you. Not because you asked, but because they want to. A friend treats you to dinner for no reason. Mom transfers money because she was just thinking about you. Someone gives away an extra concert ticket, a neighbor gives away some unwanted furniture. A stranger praises your work and shares it with their audience. You're not manipulating anyone, you're not taking, you've simply become able to receive. In human design, people with an open sacral center projectors and reflectors are naturally wired to receive invitations and gifts, but only when they don't force them or chase them. When your sacral center is open, even if you're a generator, you tap into the same principle. You stop pushing and start attracting. And people feel it. They want to give to you because you enjoy giving. Your energy is no longer needed, and I value it. This shift changes everything. Opportunities you weren't looking for. The third outer sign. Opportunities appear effortlessly. You're invited to speak at a paid event. Someone tags you in a post, and overnight you gain followers. A company gets in touch. We're monitoring your work. You overhear a conversation that leads to collaboration. The message becomes a contract. Again, this isn't magic, it's alignment. When your sacral center is blocked, you emit a frequency of lack, and opportunities are repelled. You may be talented, hardworking, and worthy, but energetically you project the image of someone in a difficult situation. When the sacral center opens, you radiate a purity of readiness, and opportunities are magnetized to you. You are the same person, doing the same work, but now you are visible. Think of it like a radio tower. A blocked sacral center transmits static. An open sacral center transmits a clear signal. And the right people, projects, and payments are aligned. What if nothing is happening on the outside? If you experience physical sensations and emotional shifts, but there are no external signs, this is likely what's going on. You are in the incubation phase. Inner changes always precede external results. Give it time. The universe is not an express delivery service. Processing takes longer than 48 hours. You're not acting on internal shifts. If you feel light but still hide, feel worthy but don't raise your prices, feel abundance, but don't ask for what you want, nothing will change on the outside. Sacred activation gives you fuel, but you still need to be behind the wheel. You're rejecting small signs. If money comes in and you think, this isn't enough, you're energetically denying the flow. The universe tests you with small amounts first. Celebrate small victories and see what happens next. Now let's talk about what to do if you haven't experienced any of these signs yet. What to do if you don't feel anything. Section 5. If you don't feel any signs, if you've been doing sacred practices for weeks and don't feel warmth, lightness, or external shifts, don't panic. You're fine. You just need to intensify. Here's what to do. First, increase the intensity. If gentle breathing doesn't work, try more powerful practices. Breath of fire. Rapid, rhythmic diaphragmatic breathing for 3 to 5 seconds. This forces energy into the sacral area. Yoga for opening the hips. Pigeon pose, goddess pose, frog pose. Hold each for 2 to 5 seconds. Physical tension in the hips equals an energetic block in the sacral center. Cold exposure. Cold showers or ice baths activate the nervous system and release stagnant energy. Second, treat the root block. If nothing moves, there is most likely a deep block. Usually trauma, shame, or a poverty diet, conscious or unconscious. Ask yourself, what did I learn about money as a child? If you learned that money is evil, your sacral center will remain closed to protect you. What happened the last time I had money? If you lost it, were betrayed, or experienced guilt, your system may be protecting you from danger. Am I punishing myself for something? Unconscious sabotage is very common. Introduction Diary. And on these issues, it can uncover blocks that one breath can't reach. Third, work with pleasure. If your sacral center is numb, it needs to be re-stabilized through pleasure. Eat something tasty slowly. Savor every bite. Touch something soft. Silk, fur, velvet, and notice the sensations. Listen to music that makes you want to move and move. Take a bath with oils and candles. Make it sensual. Pleasure is the language of the sacral center. If you've been working in productivity mode for years, your sacral center has atrophied. Restore it through joy. Fourth, give it time. True transformation takes 21 to 90 days. Continue practicing. Your body is rebuilding a decade of conditioning. Be patient. Now we move on to the final section, the 21-day transmutation protocol, which accelerates everything. This is an advanced practice. If you've tried sacral activation gradually, this protocol will take you to the next level. Why 21 days? Because that's the minimum time to create a new neural pathway. Your brain needs repetition to rewire, and your energy system needs consistency to hold the new frequency. This is not a practice. Try it for a week. It's a commitment. Week 1. Activation. Days 1 through 7. Week 1 Awakening the sacral center and clearing blocks. Morning practice. Sit comfortably. Place both hands on your lower abdomen. Breathe deeply into your hands. Feel your belly expand. Visualize a glowing orange sphere 2 inches below your navel. With each inhale, the sphere becomes brighter. With each exhale, the sphere expands. Do this. Then breath of fire for 3 minutes. Quick, rhythmic breathing through your nose with active abdominal movement. Finish with 2 minutes of silence, noticing sensations. Evening practice. Before bed, journal. What did I receive today? Money, compliments, opportunities, gifts, whatever. Write down at least 3 things, no matter how small. Finish with the phrase, I am open to receive more. Week 2. Strengthening. Days 8 through 14. Week 2. Building strength and circulating energy. Morning practice. Perform the morning practice from week 1. Add. After breath of fire, stand up. Place your hands on your lower abdomen. Begin to slowly rotate your hips. Clockwise, counterclockwise. As you move, repeat mentally. I am a channel for abundance. Money comes to me easily. Feel the energy in the sacral center moving, not standing still. Daytime practice. Every time you think about money, put your hand on your stomach. Take 3 deep breaths. Say, I am ready to receive. Evening practice. The same diary as in the first week. Add what I spent money on with joy today. Celebrate every purchase, even coffee. Week 3. Broadcast. Days from the 15th to the 21st. Week 3. Broadcast a new frequency and receive results. Morning practice. Do the morning practice of the second week. Add. After rotating your hips, sit down. Close your eyes. Visualize how you receive money. A payment, a transfer, cash in your hand. Do not force the image. Allow it to arise naturally. Feel the sensation of receiving, relief, joy. Yes. Hold this feeling. Throughout the day, notice every small victory, every ruble, every opportunity, every gift. Say thank you out loud, even if you're alone. This trains the brain to expect abundance. Evening practice. 10 minutes. Journal. What did I receive today? You, plus things. Journal. What opportunity did I accept today, even a small one? Complete. More is coming. I'm ready. The transmutation key. Here's the secret most people miss. This protocol doesn't just activate the sacral center, it transmutes your relationship with money. Week 1, you will be energy, physical activation. Week 2, you move energy, emotional cleansing. Week 3, you direct energy, conscious manifestation. By day 21, you are not the same person who started. Your nervous system has changed, your purity has shifted, and reality is responding. What to expect? Days 1 through 7. You may become emotional. Old shame, guilt, or fear may surface. This is good, it's going away. Days 8 through 14. You will notice a surge of energy, sexual vitality, or creative inspiration. Small banknotes may also appear. Coins, unexpected discounts, returns. Days from the 15th to the 21st. External opportunities arise. People connect, money comes. You feel like a magnet. Critical rules. Don't skip days. Consistency is everything. If you miss a day, start over. Don't share this practice with skeptics. Protect your energy. This is sacred work. Don't obsess over results. Do the practice, then trust. Despair kills manifestation. After 21 days, you can continue the protocol or switch to a maintenance practice per day, but the foundation will be laid. Answers to the most frequently asked questions. Answers to frequently asked questions. Before we wrap up, I want to address the questions I get asked most often, most likely, because at least one of them is probably swirling around in your head right now. The first question. Can sacred practices harm you? No, if you listen to your body. Breathing, visualization, hip movements, these are not dangerous techniques. But it's important to understand that when the energy begins to move, it can bring old emotions to the surface. Anger, sadness, fear. This is not harmful, it's cleansing. Your body is literally releasing what it's been holding on to for years. The only rule. Don't force it through pain. If you feel dizzy during the breath of fire, stop and breathe calmly. If emotions are overwhelming, take a break and ground yourself. The practice should be intense, but not traumatic. Progress is gentle but consistent pressure, not an assault. The second question. I have chronic illnesses or injuries in the pelvic area. Can I do this? Yes, but it requires adaptation. If you have problems with your lower back, pelvic floor, or reproductive system, replace active movements with gentler ones. Instead of breath of fire, use slow, deep breathing into the lower abdomen. Instead of rotating your hips, simply rock gently. Instead of poses like the frog, try the lying butterfly pose with pillows under your knees. The key isn't in a specific exercise. The key is directing your attention and energy to the sacral area. Even just lying with your hands on your stomach and breathing consciously activates the center. The body knows what to do. Your job is to signal it. Third question. I started practicing, and my condition worsened. My financial problems worsened. Is this normal? Yes, and this happens more often than you think. It's called a cleansing crisis. When the sacral center begins to open, it first pushes out everything that was blocking it. This applies not only to emotions, but also to situations. You could lose a client who has been paying below your value for a long time. A project that was draining you could fall apart. An unexpected expense may arise that will force you to finally sort out your finances. This is not a setback, it's a clearing. The old goes away to make room for the new. The biggest mistake is to quit the practice at this point. This is where 90% of people give up. They think, it's not working, it's gotten worse. In fact, it's working precisely because it's gotten worse. Keep going. In a week or two, you'll see what's replaced what was lost. Fourth question. Do you need to believe in chakras for this to work? No, absolutely not. You can perceive it purely physiologically. Deep breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system. Hip movement relieves muscle tension in the pelvic area. Visualization rewires neural networks. Introducing a gratitude journal increases dopamine levels. All of this is confirmed by neuroscience. Every element of the protocol works on a biological level. Whether you call it opening a chakra or activating the parasympathetic system, your body doesn't care. It responds to practice, not belief. Question 5. Can I combine screen practices with other techniques? Meditation, affirmations, holotropic breathwork. Yes, but I recommend not mixing them for the first 21 days. Here's why. When you do 5 different techniques simultaneously, you can't figure out what's working. You also scatter your attention. Sacral activation requires focusing on one specific area of the body. If you work with the third eye, heart chakra, and crown chakra simultaneously, the energy isn't concentrated but dispersed. Complete the 21-day protocol purely. Then add whatever you want. Once the sacral center is stably open, it becomes the foundation that enhances any other practice. Question 6. How do I know the protocol was successful? What specific result should I see? Forget the word should. The specific result is different for everyone, but there are 3 markers by which you can assess progress. Bodily marker. You feel warmth or a pulsation in your lower abdomen when you direct your attention there, not through, but within the first minutes of the practice. This means a connection with the center has been established. Emotional marker. You notice that your attitude toward money has become calmer. You think about finances without a tightness in your chest. You spend with pleasure and receive without embarrassment. External marker. At least one inexplicable influx. Money, offers, a gift, an opportunity that you didn't consciously generate. If after 21 days you see at least 2 of the 3 markers, the protocol has worked. If you see only one, extend the practice for another 7 to 14 days. If not one, return to the section on root blocks and work deeper through the journal. 7th question. Does this work for men? The sacral center is about feminine energy. This is one of the most dangerous myths. Everyone has a sacral center, men, women, it doesn't matter. Yes, in some traditions, Svadhisthana is associated with the feminine principle, with acceptance, fluidity, and receptivity. But receptivity is not a weakness or a feminine quality. It is the ability to receive. A man who cannot accept money, compliments, help, or love is a man with a blocked sacral center. He is accustomed to only giving, only acting, only controlling. And he burns out. His income hits a ceiling because he pushes away what comes naturally. Moreover, men often achieve the most powerful results because their sacral center is usually more blocked. When it opens, the contrast is colossal. So, if you are a man and watching this video, this protocol is no less for you than for anyone else. Conclusion. Let's summarize. 3 signs that your sacral center is opening. The first is physical sensations. Warmth, tingling, pulsation, fullness in the lower abdomen. Your body is activated. The second is emotional shifts, pleasure without guilt, lightness, desire without despair. Your psychology is transforming. Third. External synchronicity. Unexpected money, gifts, opportunities appearing effortlessly. Reality responds. If you experience at least one of these signs, you're on the right path. Continue. If you don't experience any, use the 21-day protocol. Strengthen the practice, process the blocks, give it time. And remember, your sacral center is not just an energetic node. It is your portal to abundance. It is a bridge between your inner world, thoughts, feelings, desires, and your outer world, money, opportunities, reality. When it is blocked, you push, force, fight. When it is open, you attract, accept, and are in the flow. The question is not whether it works. The question is whether you are ready to dedicate 21 days and test it. Because here's the truth. You don't need to believe in chakras, you don't need to believe in energy. You just need to do the practice and observe what happens. Your body will show you warmth. Your emotions will show you ease, and your bank account will show you proof. The sacral center doesn't lie. Now here's what I want you to do right now. If you're ready to commit to this 21-day protocol, write in the comments. I accept the 21-day challenge. Why am I asking you to do this? Because the moment you type these words, you're making a public declaration. You're not just thinking about it. I can't, I'll try it. You're declaring, and this declaration sends a signal to your subconscious, your nervous system, and even the quantum field. When you write, I accept the 21-day challenge, you activate your sacral center right now. You're telling your body, we're doing this, it's real. And your energy system responds instantly. This isn't superstition. It's the psychology of commitment. Research shows that people who publicly declare a goal are 70% more likely to follow through. Your comment is your contract with yourself and with the process. So do it now. Write, I'm taking the 21-day challenge. Subscribe to stay up to date with content about energy practices and the hidden mechanisms of money consciousness.